When you cook chicken, they got you under the presumption that when you cook some meat, if you cook it to a certain temperature, you could kill all the viruses and the bacteria, correct? Okay. Now, if we understand that DNA and RNA is virus, there's no part of the chicken that is not the virus.
There's no part of the chicken that is not the virus.
Now, if we understand that DNA and RNA is virus,
there's no part of the chicken that is not the virus.
Every part of the chicken is the virus. Because a virus is simply foreign DNA or RNA that's in your body. Period. So anytime you have foreign DNA or RNA in your body, that's a virus. So if you have DNA or RNA that comes from chickens, cows, snakes, you name it, fish, that is a virus. Period. Now, if the strange virus has not killed anybody yet, it's just not documented. But viruses don't mean to kill you. Viruses don't mean to kill you. They're looking for a host. They're looking for a body. So what they want to do is colonize your body. They're looking to colonize your body. So that's the danger of vaccines that we don't realize, that I haven't heard anybody discuss yet. What a vaccine does, see, when we have a sickness like a flu, let's stick with flu, everybody knows flu. Flu's a good example. The stuff that we know of that associated with the flu, like the fever, the redness, the swelling, etc., is the body's fight with the foreign agent. Once the fight is over, we assume that the sickness is gone. It's not. It's dormant in your body. So anybody that's ever had chickenpox has the herpes virus still dormant in their body right now. Anybody that's ever had shingles, that's why they say the highest risk for shingles later on in life is having chickenpox when you was a baby. Because the herpes virus is still there. But when you have the chickenpox, that's your body's natural immune system trying to push the virus out through the skin. So that's where the bumps come from, and if you're squeezing, that's the stuff coming out. That's why people with active herpes simplex 1 and 2, they can only spread it when they have what? An outbreak. Because now the herpes is actively on the skin because the body pushing it out. But other than that, the herpes is in their body the whole time. So you sharing cigarettes with them, sharing juices with them, drinks, slapping five. Hey, what's going on, brother? All right, how you doing, fam? I ain't seen you since last week. Okay. All right. I don't do all that touching. I'm on the fist bump now. What's going on, God? All right. I don't know what you did last night. Hey, we ain't enjoyed it together. We're not gonna pay for it together. So, any foreign DNA or RNA is virus. It is virus. All right. So what the vaccines do is allow the viruses to go past your body's natural response system and just go straight to colonization. Like, you ever see the movie where they say, don't fight, obey. Don't struggle. It's easier for you. Just let it happen. It's the vaccine. Just let it happen. You're going to colonize your body whether you like it or not. So see, as more people move away from eating meat, they start to put more foods on the market that feed the viruses and parasites that's already in your body dormant. That's the heavy push with the soy, the heavy push with the high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup makes cancer cells multiply anywhere from 10 to 100-fold. So you got a lot of people eating salad, but they eat the salad and then they put the dressing on it. Dressing 95% high fructose corn syrup. They just got different colors. The red number 40, blue this, so you think you got something different. You got fructose corn syrup mixed with soy. Every dressing. Soy and corn syrup. Alright? So we got to get that. Alright? This place here is mutation of the black blood cells, or the original germ cells in the body. Carcinoma in situ, Basically, carcinoma is cancer. In situ means that it just hasn't spread to the surrounding tissues yet. All right. Now, this part down here at the bottom, nobody can see really good. Is just my little white blood cell ecology, white blood cellology, basically, and just adding a little bit more, because the more we understand white blood cells and them being foreign to our body, the easier we'll be able to keep ourselves healthy. All right. When we look up white blood cells, there's 5 basic types: your neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil, lymphocyte, and monocyte. All right. However, what we don't know is that white blood cells are shapeshifters, like monsters from the movies. All right. They change shape, and depending on where they located, they give them new names. So if you look inside the liver, you got Kupffer cells. All right. Those are white blood cells. Microglial cells, those are in the nervous system, white blood cells. They hide it, waiting to pop out. Okay, they hide it, waiting to pop out. So you look in the lungs, you got alveolar macrophages. All right, sinus histiocytes, those are in the spleen and lymph nodes. And the list goes on. And they all release poisonous gases. All right, reactive oxygen species, nitric oxide, cytokines. Cytokines are interesting because cytokines mimic hormones, meaning they give cells instructions. All right, so you have white blood cells that can give your cells instructions, and your cells will be doing something other than what your body told it to do. Right? Haven't we seen that in the movie? The vampire look at you in the eye, look into my eyes, and then the vampire put you in a trance, and now you're doing what the vampire told you. Same thing going on inside the body with the white blood cell. White blood cell release cytokines. Look into my eyes. You will feed me. Matter of fact, you will become me. Okay? So we gotta pay attention to all this stuff. Alright? So this is my little diagram so we can understand how cancer works in a very simple way. Alright? Make it very simple. Alright? This is the seed for cancer. You start with a virus. Alright? You start with a virus. Obviously, you have to plant that seed in fertile soil. All right. So when this comes to your body's terrain, your diet is going to determine how fertile the soil is for the virus. All right. This is how we make this very simple and easy. All right. If we have the right type of diet, our body will be a hostile environment for any viruses or bacteria to live in, so they won't be able to replicate or colonize your body. This is the goal. Having a hostile environment for these seeds. Right? Because to think that we're going to take Minister Enqi products or Dr. Sebi products and then our body going to be so clean that we just never have a bacteria in it is not realistic. You're always going to have bacteria and virus. Every time we breathe, there's hundreds of thousands of mold spores that we breathe in. So the game is not to get the body clean of parasites. Minister Enqi, how long should I take the herbs? You should always be taking the herbs. That's why I started selling, because I'm always taking herbs. So people start coming to my house grabbing herbs. Like, I didn't start out with this business in mind. Just people was like, yo, you got that? You got this? Well, what about something for this? I'm like, yeah, I got it. You know I got it, because I'm on it, my kids on it. You always got to have it in your body. That's how our ancestors invented spices. We just got it confused. And because we don't study, we missed the significance of the historical war that took place between the Europeans and the Africans for the spices. That was big. Europeans had a lifespan of like 25 years. It was like, what is the African niggas doing now? Okay, don't blame me. I seen your eyebrows. But they was like, what are them Africans doing down there? Once they figured out it was the herbs, it was on. They was willing to risk whatever. They children, they own life, whatever, to get them plants. So we get confused when we see the colonization take place. We think that the white folks came in and burnt all of the books. But they didn't burn all the books. That's what they was coming to get, was the books. They burnt the places that held the books afterwards. But they came for the knowledge. All right, and that was one of the most bloody wars in history for them herbs. All right, but then some along the line, we got it twisted and we start seasoning our food based on the taste. It's always supposed to be the herbs. That's why to this day, some herbs that goes in the food is still the cayenne, the coriander. Coriander is one of the richest sources of copper for your blood. Copper alone is one of the most potent antiviral, antimicrobial herbs, minerals that it is. Copper pulls the inside of viruses out of them. Pulls the inside out of them. A virus, if you take a plain piece of copper and sit it down, and you put viruses and bacteria on top of it, in a matter of seconds, those viruses and bacteria turn to liquid. It liquefies them. Because copper is too electrically conductive. It's too electrically conductive, and viruses have a positive charge to them. Viruses have a positive charge to them. That's why I put up there the cations and the anions, because that's important when we're talking about health. Electrical charge. We heard from Sabi already. The body's electric. Okay, now it's time for us to get details. How electric? Where the electricity at? How does it move through the body? The stuff that doesn't belong in the body, because now we got things that's also alive that's bad for us. So if everything that's alive is electric, what type of charge does a virus have? Versus what type of charge do I have? And if black folks and white folks is opposite, what type of charge do they have? The same as white blood cells, the same as viruses, etc. Alright, so when you put them viruses on silver, put them on copper, you put them on gold, they can't survive because those are the three most electrically conductive metals.
Other than charges.
Right. I know, that's crazy. But when it gets to that it's the opposite. Negative is bad. Negative is good and positive is bad. So you got a lot of people that's been promoting the benefits of negative ions. Like the water here, the real water. Negative ions. Alright? So we want to control our internal terrain. That's important, and we do that with diet. Alright? But a lot of us fail there. So we know viruses are a given. Virus is going to happen. Alright? So now we set up the internal terrain so the virus can flourish. Alright? And that is a nitrogen and ammonia based environment. Alright? Your body in the inside should be a water and oxygen based environment. Alright? Your body in the inside should be a water and oxygen based environment. Alright? When we put these things in our body that we shouldn't, we build a nitrogen and ammonia based environment. This is where viruses can flourish. Alright? As we know that viruses and bacteria also can't survive in oxygen because of the electricity. Alright? So now we got the virus. We got the nice soil for the virus to flourish in, because we had our chicken wings and our macaroni and cheese after we said we love Jesus. Right? Jesus ain't say eat no chicken wings, but neither did Allah, Buddha. Like, nobody had chicken wings. Just for the family at home. Nobody had macaroni and cheese. Not in any of the books. Alright? So now we got inflammation. Now we have inflammation. Alright? So we move from inflammation. Acute inflammation is just inflammation that lasts for a small amount of time versus chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is basically once the inflammation gets to the point where even after you remove the initial problem, the virus, the inflammation still keeps going. Alright? So now that you have chronic inflammation, you have leukocytosis, which is abnormally high amount of white blood cell production. White blood cells are going to come to the area. It's getting ready to be the OK Corral. And I'm going to show you how this turns into a shootout real quick on the inside of your body. Alright? So once you get all the white blood cells on deck, now you're going to start to develop a tumor. Before you know it, you got full-blown cancer. Alright? So we're going to get into the specifics right here. Alright? So, now this right here is an example for the healthy folks. And the reason I say that is because a person that's eating a really good diet, the bacteria has to come in by accident. So this is not all of the folks that's eating the bacteria and virus on purpose. Alright? Because everybody else you're getting a full helping of the bacteria. We're going to see the Arabs at the corner store at the stand on the corner with the wagon. They got, it looked like they just finished changing tires. Them niggas got like black, like they nails be, like it be so black up under their nails. Like, Duke, have you washed it? No, I mean not today, like this week. Have you washed your hands this month? Like, when's the last time you washed your hands? And they don't have gloves. They have the one glove. One glove, he grabbed the money, everything with that same glove. Niggas know everything with that one glove. And make your sandwich. Like, dude, I don't need you to, the glove is just to help you be clean. Like, I need you to be clean, not to have a glove. So, I'm gonna assume, all right, put this example for the folks that's trying to eat decent. So the bacteria has to be introduced by force somehow. This is people that's not willingly allowing the colonization to happen inside their body. All right. So something happens, breaks the wound, breaks the skin. Now you got some bacteria in the body. All right. So what you're gonna have real quick, and this is how the shootout happens. All right. You have your skin cells. All right. This top layer right here is your keratinocytes. You have melanocytes all throughout here. All right. You also have white blood cells lined up just under these areas of the skin. All right. Macrophages, different names for them, but it's still white blood cells. All right. And you're getting ready to have a shootout. Your natural cells are going to release chemokines. Chemokines. All right. That's the little things that they start shooting out. Keme, black. All right. Keme meaning movement. So little molecules, little black molecules. They shooting out. All right. The bacteria. Correct. The bacteria have things that they shooting out. All right. The white blood cells have things that they shooting out. All of these chemicals create your inflammation. All right. Now, the biggest problem comes from the white blood cells, not the bacteria or the virus, because the white blood cells release histamine. All right. That's one of the things that they do release so that they can move around and even leave your circulatory system. This is your circulatory system. They want to leave your circulatory system and get into the battle. Right? Their boys is in trouble. They taking fire. They under fire. They need help. So they release histamine, and what histamine does is it opens up the cells in the veins or the arteries so that they can leave the circulatory system and engage in the battle. That causes the swelling, that causes the growth, that causes the fluid retention. So that's 3/5 of your inflammation happening right there just based on white blood cell activity. All right. Now, the problem with white blood cells and bacteria and viruses that we don't know about is that they are all related. So when we look at this, we see the phagocytes, right? So that might be the origin of faggot. I'm just saying. Something to think about, right? The phagocytes swallowing the bacteria or the virus. So now we think they just did something. But what we don't know is these viruses and bacteria, this is how they spread throughout your body. They catch white blood cells like calves. So the white blood cells not necessarily killing them. It's transporting them. This is how they move throughout your body. So if they want to get to the lymph nodes, if they want to get to the lungs, if they want to get to the thymus, because the bacteria and the virus also release chemicals that control the cells. So you have a Trojan horse effect. You can have viruses hide inside bacteria because that's how big bacteria are in comparison to viruses. It's like me standing in this room. I'll be the size of a virus. This whole bookstore will be the size of a bacteria. Then the bacteria will be the same thing in terms of a white blood cell. If I was a bacteria, this whole room would be a white blood cell. That's how small these things are in comparison to one another. So you have a virus inside a bacteria, inside a white blood cell, and they travel throughout the body. All right. This is how we get inflammation. Because now, as these cells, these white blood cells leave the circulatory system, they release cytokines, etc., that go to the hypothalamus gland and tell the hypothalamus gland to help them produce more white blood cells. So anybody that's ever known anybody that's had leukemia, they tell you that that's all leukemia is. It's too many white blood cells. Right? If you came to class when we did the age, we did the nationality and genetics, you seen the white biologists. Sometimes I gotta get white folks to tell you so you believe it. Right? White biologists broke down how the HIV virus is a protein that destroys white blood cells. That's naturally produced by black people. Because white blood cells don't belong in your body. So, just like all of these other animals have natural proteins that their body produces to protect them from being colonized, so too do we. And I'm going to show you a video in a couple of seconds that's going to blow your mind and back up what I'm saying in terms of that. All right? So, there's a lot more small dynamics to this, but for the sake of class today, we got that. All right, keep cholesterol in mind. Why do I have that there? Because this is also how we get high blood pressure and strokes in the body. As we get these little incisions, as we get these little cuts, as we get these little bruises in the body, your body uses cholesterol for semen to patch up everything. So anytime you get a hole somewhere, your body uses cholesterol to patch it up. You keep getting damaged, you keep getting patched up, pretty soon you're going to have patches the size of the vessel and nothing else can get through there but cholesterol. And that's going to block that up. So that's one of the ways that we get blockages in the body. Right? Alright, so these are all of the diseases that are related to inflammation. So just from what we got so far today, right, this class is interactive. How do we eliminate inflammation? Proper diet. What else? What's the cause of inflammation? Foreign entities. So then what do we need to do? Eliminate the foreign entities. Right. Detox, the herbs. That sometimes people complain, so I have to interweave this into the class. Minister Enqi, I ordered something from you and it took 3 weeks to get my herbs. Okay. Well, then you need to order some more. What happens if a flu outbreak happens? Like you might have 5 or 6 people in your house. This is how I start getting into the herbs. Because I was buying pounds of the herbs. Because I needed to have like 4 or 5 months worth of herbs in my house just for me and my children. Just in case an outbreak happened. Outbreaks is planned on happening because white folks is always in the laboratory playing with these little bugs. That's what they do. And outside of the white folks playing with the bugs, you play with the bugs. All of these viruses are what's called recombinant viruses, which means that they can eat or ingest another like virus and create a new mutated strand. This is how they mutate in the wild. But what we don't think of is ourselves as animals, so we don't realize that we are also in the wild. In the wild is in us. And the more dead or dormant viruses we consume, the more dangerous or the more susceptible an active live virus strand is when it hits our body. Case in point, if we eat a lot of chicken, right? We already know that a virus is DNA/RNA from a foreign entity. All right. So avian flu comes from bird DNA and RNA. So now we eat a lot of chicken, our body is loaded with foreign DNA and RNA strands from chickens. All we need is one little active avian flu strand to slip in there and it could reawaken all of the dead strands that's in the body, or pick from all of the dead strands that's in the body and mutate into something that's brand new. That's what recombinant means. That's why before you had it where the astronauts and the scientists, none of them believed in God. Then as technology got better and they was able to study deeper and deeper, they all believe in God now. They're like, hold on. I'm not saying it's Allah or Buddha or whoever, but I know something is going on, because once we get past a certain point, everything look magic. Like there's just no way to, this all just look crazy. We got dead strands becoming alive again. So one virus can come by, tap another virus, and now it's two viruses. They can confer life on one another, or they could consume one another and become something crazy together. So this is why we don't want to have that stuff in there, because it makes it more, you're more susceptible to that strain of virus, right? So all of these things are controlled by inflammatory responses. Neurological disease, diabetes, cancer, our subject of the month, cardiovascular, Alzheimer's, pulmonary, everything is based on inflammation. So now we keep the viruses out of the body to get rid of inflammation, right? Why? All right, this is a big conversation, all right? Because when I say this stuff, like for instance, we know that the hepatitis virus causes liver cancer. We know that the HPV virus, or human papilloma virus, causes cervical cancer. And since 1935, white folks have known that mice and rats cause breast cancer. We forget about the mice and the rats. Don't they live with us too? Domesticated means animals that live around humans. So you don't have to have a mice or a rat in your house to get these strands of RNA and DNA, because they shed them and they float in the air. That's a part of the dust particles we see. Like the sun coming through, we see them little floating particles in the air. All that's beautiful stuff. Some of that's your skin, some of that's other skin from other things that's on deck. That's one of the reasons why we're not supposed to breathe in the mouth. There's no filter. When you breathe in your nose, there's a filter to get most of that stuff out. You breathe in through your mouth, it's going straight to your lungs, where 90% of infections start. The reason why they want to go to your lungs is because right from your lungs, they can jump right in the bloodstream and wind up anywhere in your body in a matter of seconds. They're going to catch a cat, white blood cell. Yo, I'm trying to go down to the thyroid. Yeah. Black women don't take care of it. We go down to the thyroid. It's over. And the thyroid is how your body stays alkaline. It's how your bones stay strong. How your body resists cancer. Once the thyroid is gone, it's over. You're going to load up with all of the minerals, the herbs, everything. There's nothing you can do. You're going to succumb. No thyroid is just like a weak version of what they call AIDS. You're just susceptible to everything. All right? So biocolonialism is the name of the game. This has always been the name of the game from the beginning of time. All right? People ask themselves that, especially people that study history. They want to know why white folks pick black folks to terrorize. There's red folks and orange folks and yellow folks out here. Why they pick black folks to terrorize? Because we got the prime real estate. So this was in our sciences. This is in the books they were stealing. You're a spiritual body, an energy being, right? You heard some of that? You got a physical body. Your consciousness inhabits, it lives in your flesh, but it's not the same. All right? So if a person weighs 200 pounds and then they die, the body that we put into the coffin is still what? 200 pounds. But we know what animated the body is no longer there. So that's proof. This is at least two. There's the thing that animates the body, and then there's the physical body. We have the prime real estate. Everybody wants this. This is why the viruses are coming into your body. They're not trying to kill you. They're trying to colonize you. They want to control your thoughts. When you have the urge to go get a beer, that doesn't come from you. Your body doesn't, a baby's not born wanting to drink a beer. But beer is fermented, yeast, and fungus. So there's funguses and viruses that have colonized your body that have acquired taste for that fungus. And white folks are very crafty. They find all sorts of creative ways. Oh no, apple cider vinegar is very healthy for you. Get some apple cider vinegar. You know, take some every day. Apple cider vinegar is fungus. That's fungus. How you take an apple and turn it into vinegar? Let it rot. If you stay there, you let it rot long enough, you're going to see little bugs and mold come on it. And if you leave it there long enough, you're going to watch them turn that into liquid. White folks just put that liquid right into a bottle. We're going to sell it to black folks. Yep. They're going to buy it. They don't read. They don't read. We tell them anything. This is good for you. Drink some of this every day. It is good for you. It's going to make sure you get sick in the long run. Then you're going to come see me. I got some nice pharmaceuticals. I got some hospitals set up. What you want to do?
So then why is it so good at killing things outside the body, like using it for cleansing? That was maybe a white thing.
Because it's alkaline. But see, the problem with that conversation is and it's like, well, Minister Enqi, I thought everything alkaline was good. That's incorrect. Because bleach is alkaline and so is ammonia. Right. When you look at the pH scale goes from 1 to 14. Your body, based on your blood, is always supposed to be at a 7.365, which is almost exactly neutral. Once we go past 10, we start to get into poison. Just like once we go below 3, 4, right? So we start to get into poisons because we're moving away from our homeostasis, which is the balance, which is where our health is at. So you look at bleach is at like a 12 or a 13. Ammonia's a 14. So I tell people that all the time. They be like, well, Mr. Enqi, you know, I'm on the alkaline. I'm like, ooh, hold on. Yeah, when I eat mushrooms, whoa, hold on. Let's just take a look at mushrooms. Why are mushrooms alkaline? Mushrooms are alkaline because they're high in nitrogen and they grow in feces. All right, see, that right there is enough for me. They grow in feces. If you go to Delaware, you can smell the mushroom falls a mile away. I mean, they grow in shit. Like, I was done. Like, oh, wait, hold on. Mushrooms grow where? Okay, so I'm not going to have those. Because I thought they meant they used the fertilizer to fertilize the soil that they was growing in. It's like, no. There's no soil. This is your shit. It's like, okay, so mushrooms are out. But then it was like, okay, well, mushrooms are alkalines. Who got that in their mind? Mushrooms are alkaline because they have a high content of nitrogen, which produces ammonia. And ammonia is as high as you can go on the alkaline scale. All right. Now, if your body is in a chronically acidic state, which a lot of people are, if you eat some mushrooms and you put a little ammonia in your body, you will have a little benefit because it's going to bring you up a little bit. But if you continue with that, you're going to have a situation because you're eating ammonia. Okay? So that's why we have a lot of liver issues. Because one of our jobs for the liver is to get rid of ammonia and nitrogen, etc. Right. So, biocolonialism. Understand that the white folks always have wanted your body. Huh?
All mushrooms.
All mushrooms. All mushrooms. They get deep. They're like, well, no, you know, you got certain mushrooms that don't grow in doodle. You know, they grow on the side of trees and they suck all the life force out the tree and then they get healthy like that. So I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just get some tree bark? Why do I need to get the mushroom? Because the mushroom is a middleman now. See, I'm on the street. I know to cut the middleman out. Okay, so you got all the good stuff in you from sucking off the tree. Which tree was that? I'm going to get the 100% uncut junk. Get the tree bark, right? Or the sap.
There's oriental things here. It swears by drinking doses each day of vinegar to then work on your mouth. And this thing is that it helps with the inflammation. Now, is it also true of any pocket, like the female organ, when there is infection? Can you then take a mushroom? How would you know if you're dealing with alkaline or acid?
Well, anytime there's infection, you're dealing with acidity. So there's never a question. As soon as there's an infection, that's acidity. Because you have infection. Infection is basically Infection just means that there are bacteria and viruses in that area of the body. So to be more specific, it means that there's foreign DNA and RNA in that area. That's what an infection is. Infection is anywhere in your body that foreign DNA or RNA is. And then you have the whole shootout happening. White blood cells is bucking, the bacteria is shooting, your natural cells is shooting, everybody's shooting. All you do is feel the pain.
So how can you give you the apple cider vinegar? How can you do that for infection?
Because sometimes what happens is that's the important part, or one of the things I want to convey, is that what we notice of as the symptoms is the colonialization period in the body. So afterwards, once the symptoms are gone, the bacteria are now in your body for good. But the pain and stuff is gone. So when we put all that fungus in the body, that helps to move the body, move the bacteria and the viruses deeper into the body, out of the localized area, further into the body. Symptoms gone, you feel good, you back to work, but the bacteria is still there. The fungus is still there. And it's gonna breed and may pop up later on in life. Alright? And this is why the sun causes so much problems for viruses and bacteria, or latent, what they call latent viruses or latent sickness in the body. Because the sun starts to purge those things from out of your system. So one of the problems with people that have herpes, for example, they in the sun too much, they have an outbreak. Because the sun is pushing that stuff out from the tissues and getting it out of your body. The sun also tries to get rid of nitrogen. In fact, the whole earth is trying to get rid of nitrogen. Nobody likes nitrogen. Everybody wants to get nitrogen out of these. Anytime you see lightning, that's how the earth gets rid of nitrogen. Alright? Lightning destroys nitrogen. And that's how nitrate is produced, because we know nitrate is a derivative of nitrogen, but nitrate is safe because it's bonded to oxygen. So when lightning strikes, it breaks up nitrogen, and those little pieces bond to oxygen, and that's what helps to fertilize the soil.
What plants need nitrogen?
No, they need nitrate. They need nitrate, which is nitrogen safely bonded to oxygen. But in the GMO world that we live in, where everything is for profit, to increase the growth period of these plants, which also happens to the animals when they consume the plants, they're putting straight nitrogen into the soil, which is ruining some of the things that would normally be good for us, like chickpeas, broccoli, and spinach. All right, because they're growing them with nitrogen, so now they nitrogen based. You don't want to do that either. All right. So, how many of us seen this beautiful picture online and thought it was fake?
What the hell is it? Is it like a wait a minute.
I need this to sink in, so we just gonna hang out for a minute with our friend.
It looks like a person. That's an animal.
It's a person mixed with an animal.
And it's got legs and hoofs.
And a blood. Is it a person?
A personal?
Yes, it's two things.
It's
A
a
human
dog.
one?
It's a dog, a human,
But it looks
and
like it's hoofs.
a pig,